Oh, good morning, Kevin. How the heck are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm getting sucked in on Belinda's chat. So I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So yeah, how about yourself?
Oh, dude, it is the best day ever. I am so excited for what's going to happen today. And I'm so excited to see everyone in the chat today, too. Uh, it's always great being woken up with the one and only Belinda Allen. And frankly, this may go down as like oh gosh dang it the oh everybody's chatting too quick. The best chat ever. Pee-wee was told his bike was in the basement of the Alamo and Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I
Oh
totally forgot about
gosh,
that. But
dang, that was the first. Honestly, that was the first thing that jumped to my mind when you said you're going to the Alamo. Was, oh, you should go look for the basement. That's where Pee-wee's bike is. It's got to be there somewhere.
yeah, I forgot. I had to do a quick search to find it and go, oh, now I know what she's talking about.
Hey, welcome, Jiwon Kim. Good to see you.
Wow.
It's always nice to pick up new people. If you're new to the chat, why don't you drop a new in there so that we can
Hashtag
like, see
new.
new people that are new. Yeah, hashtag new. Yeah. Oh, good to see everyone. Christina, good to see you. Greg, Jack, always yes. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. And
Amin's here.
what's that?
Amin is here too.
No
He said
way.
he said hi earlier. He's
Oh,
kind of quiet
please
though. There he is.
yeah, he's around. Good, and
I'll
we've
be
got
back up
Donald
here.
here too. So, oh,
Donald and I,
oh,
yeah, we were just up in St. Paul. That was a good conference. We had a lot of fun up there. So
oh, that's great.
Donald nailed it.
Yeah.
He's kind of a newer speaker. He spoke on
Mhm.
my user group, but he did this talk that was kind of the history of the star schema. I can't remember what he
Mm,
named it.
mm.
And he had a good turnout, and he actually ran into somebody that worked with the group that Kimball started with and everything. So he had to have dinner with
Wow.
it. So, I mean, for Donald, that's a huge thing. Maybe he'll pipe in the chat and correct me if I said anything wrong, but but it was a good conference as
Oh,
well as last year. So it was enjoyable.
oh, that's awesome, awesome, awesome.
Next
I
week,
mean,
I head to Pittsburgh for another one.
really, boy, you're
Yeah,
traveling a lot here, man. That's awesome.
yeah. I mean, it's conference season, right? So but I should be able to do this from the hotel room.
Okay.
Um, so I plan on being here. I think we have something scheduled already for next week, right?
Yeah, we've next week we've got Dominic Romano is going to be on. He's the author of a great book. We're going to be talking about data flows Gen 2. So
Nice.
don't miss it. It's going to be a good one, but it's so good to see everyone here today. Holy cow. So many people. As always, gotta toss this out here. Make sure, frankly, um, we're here to answer questions. And so if you have questions, please drop them in the queue, even if it's not 100% on topic. We're happy to like rabbit hole into other things, so please do that. Just don't spam the queue so that we don't have repeat questions, all that good stuff. And do remember to always follow myself and Kevin over on X and over on LinkedIn as well. Okay. Yes, so good deal. What are you presenting on next week, Kevin?
Um, I'm pretty sure I'm doing the DAX query view, right? So I'll
Okay.
talk about, and we did it once on the live stream here, or a couple times, I
Hmm.
think. So I'll take kind of what we've done there. I think I've done this presentation once or twice before, but DAX query view, excuse me, in the
Hmm.
desktop, talk about how to change your development flow for developing or changing measures, right? To be
Mm,
able to put it into a DAX query, say that you got out of a visual, make your change, so you could test it right there.
mm.
Much easier testing. And then I always bring up John Kursky's concept and tell people go read his blogs on you could use the save DAX query to
Mhm.
within your DevOps build process, right? To kind of check things and do stuff and everything. He's got a lot of good things about, incorporating good quality checks into your data ops process.
Okay.
And DAX query view comes into play on that as well. But mine, I try to do more of an introduction, how to, how to work with it, and I'm going to add on to it on this one is how it works up on the service and show some of the AI stuff, the Copilot stuff up on the service as well. So I got to actually
What?
work it this weekend to get that part into it. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. And then we've got a whole bunch of people online right now, so it's great seeing everyone. Please don't forget to hit that like button.
Hmm.
Hit subscribe, turn off notifications. All that stuff really helps get the channel out. So the more you can do that, we really do appreciate that. But do keep the comments coming. The more lively the conversation is, the more helpful that is. They called it like an engagement index or something like that. I forget what it
Mm.
is, but like honestly, keep chatting, talk about whatever you want. That's all good. Um, uh, so Linda,
I saw that.
Lake House or Warehouse. You missed the live stream with Marcus Redu from 2 weeks ago. We went deep into that one. You should rewatch that. It's a good one.
The answer is yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes,
Yep.
lake house or warehouse. Yes.
Yes. In fact, both. Yeah. Good morning, Demu. Good to see you. All right. So the topic for today is we're going to be getting into the new AI skills. So
Woohoo.
if this is something that you've used today, let us know in the chat what's your what's your experience been like. Do you have this up and are you servicing any customers with this today? I'm going to admit that I'm just starting to play with it and starting to like talk about with people about how we can roll this out. Um, the pros, the cons, the things we like, the things we don't like about it. But there's some real niche things we're going to get into, or not niche, but this tackles a number of problems that aren't easily handleable by anything else. So I really like this solution. As with every preview feature out there, it's something that is, something that's a work in progress, right? So
Mhm.
be aware of all that stuff. But it's a great solution. Okay.
So,
Now,
and just to let everybody know, I know
mhm.
nothing about this. So, I'm going to see for the first time what Chris has kind of put together and have questions myself and everything. So, I'm in my total learning mode here. So,
So unlike Kevin, I'm going to be the one doing it live today. So let's see how
yes.
well this goes or not. Yes, yeah, Kevin, you are spared the wrath of the
The
demo
demo.
gods today. So like, all right, let's get this up and running. All right, I'm not sharing my screen. Why am I not sharing my screen? Here we go.
Yeah, we had it. Yeah, there we
There
go.
we are. Okay, so what the heck is an AL screen? That's right, Greg. Screw it. We're gonna do it live. Um, uh, what an AI skill is? it's this allows you to create a chatbot like experience that can query back that will generate and execute queries against your lake house in order to answer business questions. So it's very focused in on answering business questions. um, in fact, what am I doing here? I'm going to put this link in the chat so you guys can have access to it and you can see it yourselves. Where's my chat here? Let it
And so
out.
that as you're doing that, the first question is it's only from a lake house, right?
Lake
Not
house or a warehouse.
oh,
Okay.
you can get it to query the warehouse. Okay.
Yep. And in fact, uh, in fact, the big advantage, you actually get better performance against the warehouse because warehouse is more tuned for like a more interactive than the lake house is.
Hmm,
So we'll be doing a lake house demo here, but today it's faster against the warehouse. So
interesting. Okay.
um, big difference here between The AI skill and the Copilot is how you go about training up these capabilities and what you can point it at. Okay, and evaluations and limitations, right, like that. So do go out here and check these things out. There's a number of things that you have to be aware of, especially on the prerequisites here. You need a paid F64 or higher fabric capacity resource. It does work with if you still have an old Power BI premium capacity, you could still do this. You have to have the AI skill 10 switch enabled, the Copilot 10 switch enabled, and if you're doing cross geo stuff, you've got to have cross geo sharing enabled as well. And then you need to come in with a lake house or a warehouse with data already in it. But for the purposes of this demo, and honestly, this learn example that they have right here is fantastic
Mhm.
because it will create anything and everything for you. So we're going to
Hmm.
actually I'm going to stop talking and we're just going to dive in. And so you can follow along. I'm just going to be doing the stuff that's inside this demo. I just got it up on another screen and I'm going to be running through these things. Okay. So, first things first, because you know what I like to do. Anytime we're doing a demo and we're trying something out, we're going to create a new workspace. And I'm doing this mainly to show you that this is live. This is not a fake. This is like I'm actively setting this stuff up live. So I'm going to create that workspace for you. And as we go down, it's really awesome. So it's actually going to ask us, like, we're going to build this up from the ground up. We're going to like actually go and we're going to start off building out our lake house. Okay. So I'm going to start. Oh, I'm going to change my experience to data engineering. And I'm going to create a new lake house. This is my AdventureWorks live lake house. I'm going to hit create. And that's going to run. It's going to do its thing. It's going to create that stuff up. While that's up and spinning, I'm going to say new notebook. And I'm going to call this one create my lake house. Right. And I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be following along with the documentation that's out on Learn. So
Mhm.
Learn has all of the code in order to create this lake house, right? So I'm just copying and pasting it in. Before I do that, though, oh my gosh, I almost forgot. I want to connect it to the lake house I just
Yeah.
created, right? So I connect it in, say add. I make sure that it shows up here, and then I'm going to run this. Okay. Now, if you don't connect your warehouse to this, you're going to run into some issues. This will run, and I'm just going to quick run through what because it's going to take a little time as a Python lesson here. Um, it's basically let me zoom out just a little bit. So first thing we're doing is we're importing the pandas library into our notebook or into our session, right? Um, and it's giving us where we're going to get it from. And then it's going to be using a base of information. See, Microsoft has made available AdventureWorks so that you can just import it out inside of a blob container that's publicly available out on their site. So you could just use this as an example. Okay. Oopsies. Come on now. Uh, it's then going to go through and it's going to load a list of tables based upon the name of the table, where each file is going to have a name, and then we get this iterator that actually creates each table. Right. Once that gets done, it goes through a data frame to actually define the Parquet files as tables, and then it goes into overwriting and setting everything up there. I think that's about right. Did I get that right, Kevin?
Yeah, I think so. I'm still not
Okay.
100% sure what TQDM is, but that's interesting.
TQDM? Where's
Yeah,
that?
that's being imported, right? Where
Oh, oh,
it looks like it's kind of helping with the the for loop there. But
Yeah. Yeah, got no idea. But you can see it takes between. I did this a couple times the other day. It takes 90 seconds to minute and a half to 2.5 minutes to create all the items in my lake house. But if I go over to my lake house, I can now go in and I can actually see the tables here. Let me refresh all this stuff.
mhm.
Right. So now I can actually start to go in and query these items.
I think
Now,
that's really cool that they made it, made this available real quick. So
right. I mean, how awesome is this that I've got a clean environment to do my demo again so I can really test this stuff out. I can make sure that it works. Now, I do want to call out because I stumbled on this when I tried to run through this as a demo. If you haven't kind of done what I'm doing right now, which is basically warm up your lake house, get it so it's starting to respond quickly in providing the definitions by returning
mhm.
results. Um, uh, you're going to have kind of a bad time in the first step of the lake house. I'm going to show that to you in just a second as to like how it could stop you. But if you already have an existing lake house, it's just absolutely no problem. And in fact, if I were to just wait 5 minutes because I went and got a cup of coffee, this would be no problem whatsoever either. Uh, but we're on a live stream, and I don't want to wait 5 minutes and like come back later. So I'm just
I mean,
quickly running
we
through
could both
warming these
walk
up.
away for 5 minutes and
Yeah, yeah, we'll
let the
skip.
chat go wild and just
Yeah. So I'm just clicking on a few of these to finish up, getting the stuff I think that's in memory. Honestly, I don't know how or why this really works, but it straight up didn't work when I tried this without first
mm,
doing this. So I don't want to run into that same problem when we go to the demo. Okay, but I've now clicked on all the tables I'm going to get. So now I'm ready to go and create my AI skill. All right.
all right, let's do it.
So now I go back to my environment. I'm going to switch over from my data engineering. I'm going to go over to data science as my experience. Okay. Um, I guess in data science, you can create a lake house and stuff too, but oh well.
Yeah, I mean, you could always get to the personas just kind of help choose something a little bit quicker.
Yep.
You could always go to show all the things, type and page through it.
Yep. Uh, unless you're in any private preview items show up and show all. Do not use show all if you're in your private preview. So just letting you know, it's a bad idea. So
Well,
we're not going to do that. All right. Um, all right. So hang on. Maybe I went too fast there, or I didn't see what I was doing. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go in and create my AI skill. And so up on the recommended items to create AI skills, one of the items that's up here. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to paste in, or I'm going to type in the name that I want. In this case, oops, that was my warehouse name. Here's my AI skill live that I'm going to create. So I'm going to create it. First thing that this is going to come up with is it's going to uh, ask me to connect to a warehouse. Oh my. We may be in trouble. This has been the fastest part of this was always right here, my demos. So
let it run. Trust the
yeah,
process. The plan
yeah,
is good. Trust the plan.
yeah.
It.
No.
Well, now if
Oh,
you
come
also
on
want to
now.
learn how to reboot your capacity,
Yeah, yeah, right. So let's try it again. Upgrade. Can't shut up.
oh my goodness.
Okay. All right. Well, then
Well,
let's
because your
change.
current workspace got changed to my workspace somehow.
Oh, oh,
So change
okay.
back into your other workspace.
That would explain it.
That was weird. Some glitch
Yeah.
because
A
it had it there.
glitch in the system.
Yeah.
Okay. AI skill live. There we go. Input name. Create. Oh, okay. It's already there now. Oh, okay.
All right.
All right. So first things first, I have to add a lake house. I'm going to click on add, and I'm going to select the lake house that I just created here. All right. We're back on track now.
All right.
Um,
Dan,
all right.
Dan asking which one of us are hallucinating. So
I think we're all hallucinating.
yeah.
Um, Now, right here is where I encountered the first little kind of challenge, is because I ran my notebook. It generated in like 90 seconds, but I didn't go through and I didn't refresh each table. And so when I came in and I attached my lake house, I didn't have these check boxes by it. And so these are very
Hmm.
important because you're going to be defining as part of this which tables in your lake house you want the AI model to train itself over, right?
Hmm.
So in this
Okay.
case, I'm going to select the ones that are uh that are in the demo, right? Geography, product category, promotion, reseller, right? Dim reseller, dim sales territory, and then fact internet sales and fact reseller sales. Okay.
Okay.
Once I've got that done, I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right. Now, in theory, I'm now quote unquote done with connecting my AI skill to my data. So it's all connected. This is ready to go. But now I want to go in, I want to train it to make sure that it's answering the questions the way I want it to. And
Okay.
so Microsoft has provided us with the sample question here. So I'm going to ask it, what is the most sold product? Okay. So I'm just going to put that in. I'm going to run that. The AI skill is going to evaluate all the table names, field names in my model, and it's going to generate a SQL statement in order to
Hmm.
come up with these results. And hang on one second, though. Let's talk. So the reason I think this is going to be very helpful and useful is because the two most popular languages, programming languages out there, are T-SQL and Python.
Mm-hmm.
So, Copilot and all these LLMs and AIs that are being trained to be able to generate code are going to be the best over the largest amount of code bases that exist. So, any solution that where we're talking coding and AI, that foundation is Python or SQL, I think we have a real strong chance of having a really good ability to dive to be successful in what's going on here. And Belinda's got a great question here about,
Mm-hmm.
so how is this different from Q&A? Well, you saw how I got in and I selected my tables in my lake house. Now, in this lake house, this is AdventureWorks. This is a or this is my star schema, right? This does not have to be. This could be a lake house with shortcutted tables from my silver, from my bronze layer, and so that we could set that stuff up. And I'm going to show you one of the big things here is not only does it generate queries for me, and that I can train these queries that are being generated, uh, but that I can write my own queries that are going to encapsulate definitions, and I can put that in. So while Q&A is nice, Q&A runs just on tabular models. This is, as Greg said, this is Q&A on steroids,
Hmm.
and something that I, as a developer and data analyst and owner, have direct control over, so I can set it up and how I want. So I love that part of it. Okay.
So let me ask another question here while we're
Mm-hmm.
on that part of it. And this is good that we have it up here. So in if the target audience is a business user
Mm-hmm.
that may or may not have SQL skills yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
This to me feels like it's also a way to kind of help them get an answer, but help teach them, hey, this may be something you could do to start improving your skills, right? So there it is. Eric kind of is this type of thing I'm trying to run at, right?
Yep.
How useful is this to the business user? And I'm thinking it's a way to kind of to start drawing them into getting in their own queries or teaching them things while still giving them valid answers. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, so that's a great question. Now, we're going to go through and I'm going to show what that business user experience is like.
Mhm,
So the business user who's just coming in for answers is just going to be able to get answers. And they're going to be able to do that based upon SQL queries that I, as an analyst, or I, as a data engineer, or I, as a data scientist, have put together and say is relevant for that business user,
mm,
right? So I've worked in a lot of organizations where we've got uh, where we where people would call us and ask us questions, and we had like a catalog of 50 queries that we would go, and when we get that ticket come in, we'd run that query, and then we'd send the response back, right?
mhm,
Because it was something that was really hard to or didn't make sense to put in individual reports out there because they were just one-off asks of, for the data. And so we're going to show you how this is going to fit in. And so
okay,
uh, I will say, Kevin, or Eric, this is something that people are going to have to get used to. But I think there's some big advantages that we're going to get into that. I think if not today, at some point in time and tomorrow, well, we can show them how to get used to that. And uh, yeah, and there is no export to Excel button in this. In fact, you'll see most of the
Jesus.
results don't make sense to report to Excel. So,
Hopefully, that's a
well,
good thing.
yes, 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 yes. The whole not exporting to Excel is good. So, but this fantastic question. Yeah, good call out. Let's dive back into it though. Okay.
Alrighty.
Now, this is great, right? So if we look, what was the question we asked? What is the most sold product, right? And it came back and said water bottle. Let's see if that's the right answer though. All right. So if we look, select top one English product name as most sold product. Okay. Yep. That is a good first line. It pulled it from the product. Okay. It joined it to the internet sales, which is what I would want it the from it to come from the internet sales on product key, and it grouped it by product name. All of this is great. Here's where we run into a problem. It came in
Mm,
with order quantity as the most sold product. Well, what if I don't want that to be the response? When someone says, hey, when I'm talking about most sold product, I really want there to be sales. Well, here's where you can come along and you can train your model. So I can put in a comment and say, whenever I ask about the most sold products or items, the metric of interest is sales revenue and not order quantity. All right. And I can actually paste that in, and this is going to train the AI skill um, to actually change that response. So now, when I ask that same question, what is the most sold product? It's going to generate, it's going to tell me it's this mountain bike with this sales revenue. Okay.
mm,
And so I can actually see, I can go and evaluate as the prompt engineer who's helping build out this AI skill. I can see what it's doing, right? And I can go, okay, hey, this is good. I want this to be like this, so I can, yes, it's most product sold. Oh, good. I'm showing the sales amount because that's relevant information I want my users to have. Dim product, this stuff is good, and then it's ordering it by total sales revenue, right? So this is actually what I wanted to have. This is all good. Um, so this is really great, right? Uh, Miss Belinda's asking, can we use this to Q&A?
she's still stuck on Q&A. Everything goes back to Q&A.
So the answer is no. This is not Q&A. It doesn't work with in Q&A. It's something completely different. And we'll show you the interface and how this can integrate even better than Q&A. In fact, I honestly like this far superior to Q&A. Sorry, Q&A friends out there. The nice thing about Q&A is that it's you can put it as a custom embedded visual inside of a report. Hopefully, we can get that in with this as well at some point in time in the future. Again, a preview feature, right? So these things can be there. But Kevin, I know what you're saying to me. How the heck? How the heck am I going to know what all of the rules are as part of this train model? I just
Uh,
okay.
yeah,
So you added
can you
that.
tell me how? Yeah, how do I know what all the rules are? Where are
Well,
they?
that's a fantastic question, Kevin. So while I can train my model by just putting it in here,
Hmm.
what we have is this wonderful notes category with a 15,000 character limit. So I can
15,000.
paste that comment inside of my notes category and make this as like, okay, my model is going to run off of this comment and this is what's going to be there. And in fact, I can even go in and I can add in a whole bunch of notes because I have 15,000 characters. I can provide it all sorts of different instructions as that should be considered as part of my, when it's doing its evaluation as to, when to use a different table, or when asked about customer demographics, join dim customer with relevant fact tables, or for sales by promotion, join internet sales with dim promotion and group by promotion name.
Okay,
Right?
so are these notes part of the prompt engineering, or is this just for you? Not for
uh,
the, I mean, the develop, right? The maintainer.
right? This guides the AI by providing short, detailed instructions, as you can see in the pop up here.
Okay.
This actually enriches the model. So I can go in and I could one by one add these all in as I slowly build that up, but then I got to remember to put it in here, or I can just paste all these notes inside over here, and this becomes saved for the model, and the model will run off of these notes.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Okay, so it is like the, you know, like I say, training the model or the prompt engineering, it's giving it all those instructions.
Correct.
And
Correct.
we keep that all in the notes so we could see it all in one place.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm a super big fan of that one. Um, Now we have some other options that we can do here because some of these things are a little more difficult. Like, what if I want to say, how many active customers do we have June 1st, 2013? Well, this is a bit of a challenge because active customers isn't defined in my model. So if
Hmm.
I ask it, it's either going to give me a result that's not quite right, or it's going to, okay, count customers for date first purchase is less than that. Uh,
Yeah, it's
you
less
know,
than or equal to, yeah.
Right, right, right. Okay, maybe, but that's not the active customers on that date, right? Or that we
Right.
wanted to have. So, what I can do is I can actually go in and I can write a query to answer these questions. So,
Hmm.
by clicking on this edit button, I can go ahead and I can add an example. So, how many active customers do we have June 1st, 2013? Then I can prompt it with, this is what my definition is going to be. So I can write my own SQL statement. So it's count distinct customers from internet sales, where order date key is date key, and fulfillment date full date alternative key is between these dates. And it's yeah, I can't read it right. But having a count over
Okay, so
greater
they had to
than
be more
two.
than, they had to purchase more than one time,
Right,
basically.
to say that it's an active
Okay.
customer, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's actually gives an, oh yeah, in the last six
In the
months.
last
So it's
6 months. Yeah.
Right. So it's saying in the last 6 months, 2 or more orders. This is my logic. And so like those custom definitions, like, and frankly, I think you could start to see in here how there's some definitions that you might have for active or
Hmm.
like performing that can be really, really hard to put into uh
Just,
Power BI, right?
yeah,
Like, oh, creating that, you can do it, but it's tricky. And if you start to combine some of these things are very easy to do inside of SQL when it comes to adding in logic, it can become increasingly difficult to put that into Power BI and make that work.
yeah. I've
This
written some very complex measures to say to put in whatever a business definition of an active customer is. So I agree with you
right,
there.
right. So like really easy, right?
Yeah.
Um
You want it to
In this
delete
case,
it?
I'm going to delete that. I'm going to actually show you. The other nice thing is if I have a whole list of these things, and honestly, I would
Oh,
probably end up having a whole list to answer questions. You can put those in a JSON file format that's super easy with just question SQL query and
hmm,
into JSON, and then you can import it. So I've already done that with a whole list of them. I've got I don't know how many do I have here, 17 or 16 of them or 15 of them. I just click on open, and now I can code control all of the questions and queries that I have, and then it's all built right into my system.
hmm,
Again,
interesting.
um, uh, yeah, Jack, why do they make
Yeah.
uh, the
Uh,
AI input so small?
code
I
it.
think
Yeah.
they hate this, right? Oh.
Yeah. And yeah, whatever the UX, the UI people, they tend to do that. And I always go
Mhm.
out to another tool like Visual Studio Code, start writing my stuff from there and copy and paste it in. So
Right, right.
yeah.
So now, and Blend is right. So unlike ML, this is creating code similar to like X by example rather than logarithm. That's right. So we actually get more direct access into how the code is going to work and function than just blindly having to trust in the AI and the AI's ability to interpret the information. Now, again, uh, like AI is going to be really good at generating SQL, and so as long as your table name, your tables and your table names make sense, it's able to like say, okay, dim customer key is going to like join to all the
Hmm.
other customer keys that are in my table. Um, it'll be able to generate a lot of questions and come up with a lot of different answers. Um, but you're able to actually go in and hard code these capabilities, okay? And train it up and check it out. Right. Any questions here?
Well, so can we rerun your active customers
Yeah. Yep.
response and
Yep.
it actually
That's
can we
that.
change it to like May or something or a different year?
Sure.
Yeah, because what we expect to see is it should return us the sequel, right? With
Yep.
it should give us a different answer, and the sequel should show how it should use like the query you have and substitute it in. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, look at that. So, oh man. Oh, it returned an empty set. Okay, hang on.
Yeah, but you can see where it put in that it has to have two.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. So like that's definitely the right answer, right? That was the
mhm,
right query that came up, and there we go, 59.
yeah.
And oh, and then this time it didn't do the right thing. That's disappointing. Oh,
Hmm.
2013. Well, that's a bummer.
So,
Did it
okay.
right once.
Let's mark and report a bug.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, one of the things I would really like to see is our ability to downvote and upvote answers, right? Like, so
Mhm.
it learns when it does good. Like, I would like really have liked to be able to come back here and say, yeah, this is the right evaluation. I may not have come up with answers, but this is right. You failed this one, you failed this one, so it can learn and train from its responses. Because that's how these things do work. You can teach them like that. So head out to where's my little link for that? I've got a link for learning or ideas. Where'd it go? Fabric ideas. Head over to aka.ms/fabric ideas to submit an idea to get this taken care of. That would be fantastic, right? All right. But wait,
There's more.
I'm not done yet. There's more.
It's going to
Okay.
lead right into Belinda's question.
Oh, what's Belinda's question? I didn't see it.
Does it store the questions anywhere that can be shared with report consumers, or is this just for developing? It's not just for developing.
Yep.
We're in the development part right now,
Right.
but the end interface is going to be different. And I think that's what you're working up to.
Yep. So let's go ahead and publish this. So this is my live. I'm going to give it a little description. You don't necessarily have to, but I'm doing it here. I'm going to hit publish. Yay, it's successfully published.
Woo-hoo.
Now, I can go into settings and I can see that it has been published right here. Here's a URL. That's great. We're going to come back to that in a second, though. Now, in order for people to be able to access this, they have to have access to this AI skill and the data. Okay, so it's both things that they have access to that they need. So we're gonna go back to our workspace, and we're gonna share our read access to. So share. I'm gonna give this to myself. And gone. And Power BI Luchador. They can have read to these items and I say grant. And then I'm going to go back because they need to have access to the data that the underlying data that the AI skill is running on. What does that mean? That means if you put row level security or any other security constraints on your data, the AI skill will show the results of that. So you don't have to worry about like them people having access to stuff that they don't have access to, right? Now, when I go back to the AI skill, I then go and I share this. I go myself and Power BI Luchador, and I hit send. Okay. But I want the copy link. Okay. I'm going to show you what happens what their user experience is going to be like. Now, this is going to automatically pop me over to one of the user windows. Why? I don't 100% know, but it does that, which is nice because I want to see what it looks like on the user side. So it's good. So this is what it's going to look like when I come over to the user interface. So I can come in and my users will be able to like go to this skill live and I can actually paste in what is the most sold product. And come on, don't fail me now. All right. Look at this. So it did use product name,
sales
amount, and it did. So it followed what I was doing, although it didn't do the. Oh, where's the most sold product? It gave me all of the top sold. So this is the top one, but it gave me all of the ones that are down below it. So I could take this and I could then export it out. I could ask it other questions like, where's that? How many active customers do we have on June 1st? It's going to return the results.
I was going to say that one comes back because I think you got to go 2013. I don't think you have data going back to the.
Yep, 2013.
But you see, again, it's not using.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, this time it did. Yeah.
But that didn't give me a record count. Wait. Well, that's interesting. That's not the execution of that statement.
Hmm.
Oh, well, all right. Again, this is where we should be able to put in a failure button on this, or that didn't, like, hey, I did not like that response. That's not a good one. Um,
Yeah,
but
maybe something wasn't imported in that JSON file correctly or something. I don't know.
yeah, that could be. I no, this is the right. If I execute this query, so I should be able to take this query and go back over to my lake house. Wait, where's my lake house? Lake house.
Hit the analytics endpoint.
Yep. Head over to my analytics endpoint. Stop it. We're live. Don't do that.
But Belinda still feels like this is still a dev Q&A. And
Well,
I mean,
on.
you could tell it not to show the sequel, right? I mean, it's definitely going to be a different user experience than trying to get Q&A
Does it
in.
allow you to say don't show SQL? I don't think we have
There
that
was
control.
a button there. I could have sworn if you go back, finish up your other
Okay.
stuff, but I think we could go back into that. But I'm sure I saw a button that said, "Don't show sequel."
Count distinct. Oh, there shouldn't be a group by. Yep. Okay, so it did not generate the right SQL there. So, oh well, it came really close.
Yeah.
um,
But if you go back into your edit
yeah.
your deal,
Yep.
your AI skill, that
Yep.
one, show
Oh,
executed SQL query.
okay. So I removed the executed SQL query, hit publish, head back over. I'm tapping all around the world.
We'll do it live.
Yep, we are doing it live. So, what's the most product sold? And enter. There we go.
And it didn't show the SQL
And it
this
didn't
time.
show the stuff. So
So you
that's
have some
great.
options, right? Like if you're
Yes.
trying, if you are trying to kind of teach some business users and you want them to learn the SQL, at the same time, because actually that was a conversation I had with
Mm-hmm.
somebody, right? Is, well, my team doesn't know a lot of these technical things. And so I could see that this would be a way to help their team get some answers and also teach them, more on some of the SQL, if that's what you want them to go to. If just want to give the answers, now here's a way to kind of do it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you could use that endpoint in other applications. I don't know if that's part of this tutorial or something.
Well, it actually is, Kevin. Thank you for setting it up. So,
It's almost, and honestly, we did not rehearse any of that.
so
Funny.
there's a nice little segment here that can show you how you can use that URL from that endpoint inside of your inside of like a notebook or anything else, but it's an
Mhm.
API, so you can just call it. And so this is example code again, right outside of the learn. So I did not write any of this because I don't know Python. But in order to get that to work, all I do is go back to that settings, and where it says publish, I grab the URL here and I head back to my notebook and I replace this string with that URL. And then I can run this to test this out. And you'll see, what? No way. There we go. Start that session. There we go. All right, so it's up, it's running, and we're going to get a result relatively soon here. Okay, there we go. And now we've got a response on what's the question here? What is an example product? maybe not the best one, but um, hey, you can see how this can now work programmatically, so that you've got this available to you. All right, so uh, this is about this is all the stuff that you can do with the AI skills. I really like it because, um, like I said, if I have questions that need to go down to the bronze layer or that
Hmm.
need to go to the silver layer, I can now expose this information through these questions. Like, uh, I don't know. Let's say you've got a live sync of data into the bronze, but there's a delay of information flowing into silver and gold because you do curation and you do management, but you want to expose to users, like when the last order was processed or how
Hmm.
many orders were processed in the last hour. You could point to that bronze layer that has that live data coming in, and you could give them this to ask those questions, right? So
Yeah.
a whole bunch of different capabilities start to light up then.
Yeah, and I could kind of see this, like, even if you build this into, using that API, build it into an operational system, right? So that
Hmm.
you're in the UI that is familiar to them there, but they put a quick question in, or you have a defined question or something like that. Could be, say, in your customer support system, right?
Hmm.
Some the customer support systems that you want to be able to have your customer ask questions have ways to call the APIs to do that, right? So you just code that in and it queries, like what's the status of my last order or something like that. And you could use this within something like, Zendesk or whatever, to
Yeah,
do it. I see a lot of capabilities.
right, right. And this is not going to eliminate reporting.
No.
Right? It's not, oh, now we don't need Power BI anymore, or we don't need reports. We definitively do. And you should use reports for what reports are good at, right? Don't don't replace them. Augment
Hmm.
your solution. So you use reports for reports and use AI skills for AI skills, right? And
Yeah.
now there could be crossover, right? Maybe you want to be able to surface some things that normally would come from a report, but you want it in an interface that allows for people to like explore and do other things with it. So,
Right.
um, you know, but don't attempt to necessarily do everything. And and maybe like maybe we also want to like the other good thing for this is to understand what else would we like this to do. I remember the Power BI service updates 3 times a week. uh, when a feature is in private preview, they have very open reign to be able to do deployments, to make updates, to make changes. So, Paul asked a good question and like flew by, and I missed it while I was doing the demo about, hey, can I ask it to format the data in an exportable format? Today, no, but that's a fantastic idea and one that like if you tag this over on the ideas site, I know Nelly is actively watching these boards and looking for input and direction on what features would be out there. So I would like off the top of my head and working through this, there are a handful of things we've talked about. Number one, the ability to like rate these things up and down. Number two, the ability to like specifically tell it what type of exportable format or like what the data should look like in a response. Number three, I would love for this to be an embedded option, like a custom visual that's the new AI scale custom visual that's
Hmm.
in desktop, right?
That's a
Uh,
good one.
I think those are the three things that that really jump out to me as functionality here. Like rate it up or down, export, and embed. Can you guys think of anything else that you'd like to see in this?
Sorry, I was reading Paul's response here. I saw something on Excel plus Python this week. Should be able to avoid Excel. Yeah, for compliance sake, do not export. But that's what everybody wants to do, right? So for
Hmm.
compliance sake, if you're really tough in compliance, right, start looking at the information protection type of stuff, right? So,
Yep. And I will say, I think I saw this question come through too. I think Belinda asked it. The questions and the responses are not stored anywhere that's exposable or accessible, as far as I know. Some people really like that. Personally, I would love the ability to go back through and audit and plus or minus and fail responses, so that if my users are asking questions and they're getting the wrong response, I'd love it if I was able to have people go through and troll through that to enhance it and curate it. Um, I'll say some of the best LLM solutions that we've rolled out, having that feature and that functionality so that people could uh, be able to provide that feedback to improve it. It was one of the big key things for success. Because then eventually we went from, okay, the model's turning out correct results 70% of the time to the model's turning out good results 94% of the time.
Yeah.
And
And
honestly, I'm going to say, when it comes to data literacy, I know people like, oh, that I want it to be 100% accurate. In talking with some executives, they've said, you know what, 100% accuracy isn't as important. Just because people, even when shown 100% accurate information, they make bad decisions or they interpret it wrong.
Yeah.
So,
sometimes people just want data. It doesn't have to be the right data.
yeah. I mean, you don't want it to be wildly wrong or wildly inaccurate and whatnot, and you want to be able to test it and trust, go back to it and enhance it. But I mean, executives know that even when they ask questions from us, I mean, how many times does an executive ask you to answer question A? You come back answering question A, and then they drill in to ask more questions, only to uncover like, oh, well, maybe if that was the context, I'm off base, right? And but yes. All right, we are at the end of our live stream here today. Kevin, any parting words for our people as we head off into the sunset?
Just enjoy the day. Make every day the best day ever.
Heck yeah. That's a great outro. Thanks, everybody. Make today the best day ever.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.
Digital combines strategic industry insight and advanced technical expertise to uncover and solve your digital transformation challenges. If you're interested in learning more, check out our website at bakertilly.com/digital.